Hi, how are you today? My name is Vanessa, and I will be evaluating your 24-hour intake of food and drinks. How are you doing today?
I'm good.
You're good?
Thank
What's
you.
your name?
Oriana.
Oh, yeah, nice to meet you. So, I'm just going to go over this whole process with you from beginning to end and try to be just as specific as possible of what you ate and drank during the last 24 hours. And if you do have any questions, just let me know. So, whenever you're ready to get started, we'll get started. And we're going to start with like the first thing you had in the morning. Um, Drink and food, and let me know whenever you're ready.
Um, I had tapatio. Oh, sorry. Yeah, tapatio soup.
Okay.
Um,
And
and
then,
I had some yogurt with some granola.
okay. And then after that, that was in the morning time, you said.
Those are my breakfast.
Any beverages like tea,
No, I had some water.
water? Okay. And then after that, did you have anything around later that day?
I had a snack late in the day. There's chips and salsa and
Did
guac.
salsa and guac? Okay. And then that was about like a snack.
The snack, yeah.
All right. And then after that, did you have anything to eat or drink?
Oh, I did. I did actually. I had some quinoa.
Some quinoa.
And then I had some nachos and a quesadilla.
So the quinoa, nachos, and a quesadilla, all at the same time, or around the same time.
Around the same time, yeah.
So quinoa. Okay. So nachos, quinoa, quesadilla, and then anything to drink.
I had a seltzer water.
Seltzer water, the same meal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So seltzer water, and then after that meal, anything else to eat or drink?
No. At night, I had a little bit of Chex Mix.
Chex Mix. So Chex Mix during like nighttime, and then that was before you went to bed. Anything else after the Chex Mix?
No.
And then okay, so you had a cup of noodles, some yogurt, some granola, chips, salsa, and guac, nachos, quinoa, and a quesadilla, and then seltzer water, and then some Chex Mix at the end of the day. Okay. And then after that, I'm just gonna ask you if you remember having anything that you might have forgotten. So I'm gonna start with your cup of noodles. Did you have anything in there, like any seasoning, salt, pepper,
I had
anything extra?
I added lime juice to it.
So lime juice.
Lime
Okay.
juice.
Was that like fresh lime juice?
Fresh lime juice.
Okay. And then you added that to the soup. And then you said you had yogurt and granola. And any other ingredients added into there, like honey, any other
No, it was like
nuts?
a almond milk yogurt, blueberry flavored.
Blueberry flavor.
I had a few bits of blueberries in there.
So a little bit of blueberries. Okay.
And then
just regular
the snack.
granola.
Yeah.
No added nuts or anything.
No.
And then you said you didn't have any coffees or teas or anything to drink like that, other than like water, right? You said you had water.
Yeah.
And then for your chips and salsa and guac, did you have anything on there that you might have forgotten to mention? So like dressing, salsa.
Yeah, it had sour cream, queso, pickled onions, cilantro. And that was it.
Okay. Yeah. Onions, sour cream, queso, pickled onions, and cilantro in there. And then you said you had quinoa as well. Was that quinoa like just plain, or was there any?
It was
seasoning, butter.
It had olive oil. It had red pepper flakes and parsley.
Red pepper and parsley. Okay. And then you also mentioned that you had a quesadilla at that time. Was that quesadilla with anything on top? Obviously, you had cheese, right?
Yeah.
Inside. And then did it have anything on top, like any seasonings or um,
No.
mayonnaise, nothing on there?
No, it was
just a plain
quesadilla.
quesadilla. And then you had a seltzer water as well.
Mhm.
And for that seltzer water, was it by any chance like extra? Did you add any sweetener in there? Extra sweetener?
I did actually.
Oh, you did? Okay.
It was unsweetened, but I added some
So it was unsweetened, and then you added some sweetener.
some simple syrup. Yeah.
And then you added simple syrup. Okay. And then after that, any other beverages that you had?
No, I had water.
You had more water.
Yeah.
So water. And then you said your last snack slash meal was Chex Mix.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then for that Chex Mix, anything else added in there, like any other hot sauce, condiments,
No.
butter? Okay, so just Chex Mix. And then did you have anything to drink at that time?
Water as well.
Some more water.
Mhm.
Okay, perfect. So that concludes that part. I'm just gonna go over the times, and maybe like you can tell me around the time. Doesn't have to be so specific, but if you can remember what time you had like the cup of noodles and your yogurt.
I had my cup of noodles and yogurt around the same time, so like it was like 11 a.m.
11 a.m.
Mm.
So you had that was like around the 11 a.m. mark. Okay, so that was there. Okay, awesome. And then for your chips, salsa, guac,
That was around like 5 p.m.
around 5 p.m. Perfect. And then that after that was the nachos, the quinoa, your quesadilla, and your seltzer. Around what time was that?
It was around like 7:30, 8 p.m.
Like 7:30 p.m. Perfect. And then you had some Chex Mix towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
Around what time would you say you had the Chex Mix?
Oh, that was probably around like midnight.
Oh, like midnight?
Yeah.
Okay, so like 12 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
And then the water, you had it around
Mhm.
that time too?
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. So we have the times. And then for the last piece, I'm just going to ask you some measurements. And then for your cup of noodle, do you know about how much you had for that cup of noodle? Like, would you say it was about like the soup was like about 1 cup, 2 cups, 3, 4 cups?
I'd say probably about 2 cups.
So 2 cups of that soup. And then do you remember the brand of the soup by any chance?
The Tapatio.
Tapatio cup of noodle soup. Okay. And then you say you added some fresh lime juice. And then was that like a whole lime?
It was half a lime.
It was half a lime. Perfect. So half a lime of fresh lime juice in there. And then you had your yogurt. About how much yogurt would you say you had? Was it about like a cup, or was it about half a cup?
It was about a cup.
The cup of the yogurt, and you said it was blueberry, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you said what brand do you remember?
Silk.
Silk brand. So a cup of that yogurt, and then you had some granola with that. And then the granola, would you say, was it about a quarter cup, a third of a cup?
It was probably a quarter cup.
A quarter cup of the granola. Okay, perfect. And then that granola, was there, do you remember the brand of it, or the specific?
It was like a Walmart brand. I think it's like, I don't want to know what brand it is.
Okay, no problem. So just a Walmart brand and a quarter cup of that granola. And then you said you had some water with that meal. And then for the water, do you remember, maybe was it about, this is a 16 ounce, or a little bit less than this? We could do like half of that. Or it was like 24 ounce.
It was probably about 16 ounces.
So about 16 ounces of water for that meal. Okay, perfect. And then the next meal was like chips, salsa, and guac. And then I'm gonna ask you for your chips. Do you remember about how much chips you had?
I had about 20 chips.
So 20 chips. And then for the salsa, we added that sauce on top. Do you remember how much you ate of that? Was it about
Um,
a quarter?
it
A
was
third of a
about
cup?
a third of the salsa and a third of guac.
So a third of each, a third of the salsa, a third of the
Mhm.
wok. Okay. And then let's see. Did you have beverages with that? You said you had
Just
water,
yeah.
right? Okay.
Mhm.
So
I had
you
like
had
2 of the 8-ounce glasses, so
like
16.
16, so you
Yeah.
say about that much.
Mhm.
So another 16 ounces of water with that meal, okay. And then for the later meal with the nachos, the quinoa quesadilla, I'm gonna ask you for the nachos. About how many chips of nachos do you remember having?
It was about 15 chips and nachos.
So like 15 chips of your nachos. And then for those chips, you said you also added sour cream, queso, pickled onions, and cilantro. I'm gonna ask you, how much sour cream do you think you probably had in there? Was it about, was it a tablespoon?
Yeah.
A tablespoon. And then after that, the queso, was it about the same amount? Okay. And then for your pickled onions, do you think you added a little bit more than this? Would you say maybe like
It was about
a quarter of a cup?
Yeah.
Quarter of a cup. Perfect. So a quarter of a cup of the pickled onions, and then the cilantro. Do you think it was around this, like maybe like a quarter, a half teaspoon?
Probably half a teaspoon.
Half a teaspoon, so like this one.
Yeah.
So half a teaspoon.
Yeah, half a teaspoon.
So we'll do half a teaspoon of the cilantro on top, and then the quesadilla. You said it was plain. There was nothing on it as well. And then the quesadilla. Do you remember how much, like how big it was? Was it about the size of this deck of cards?
No, it's bigger than that.
We would say like 2 of them.
Yeah, it was
like
about
2
2
deck
of
of
them.
cards. And then you also had the seltzer water, which was it?
It was
You said sweetened with you added simple syrup.
Yeah.
And then for the size of that, do you remember? I have these cans. Was it about a 12-ounce can or a 7.5 ounce?
It was
can?
12 ounce, but I only drank half of it, so
you had half of that.
6 ounces.
So 6 ounces of the seltzer water. And then you added simple syrup. Do you know how much simple syrup you added to that?
It was.
Do you think it was maybe like half a teaspoon?
Yeah.
Half a teaspoon. And then you also had some water with that. And then for that meal, do you know how much water you had? Would you say you had around another 16-ounce cup or half of that?
Maybe 8 ounces.
Just 8-ounce cup.
Yeah.
And then after that, we had the last meal, which was that Chex Mix. And then that Chex Mix, let's see how much. Do you remember about like maybe a cup? Or I can show you this one, and it could be like 2 cups, 3 cups, 4 cups, so you get a better visual of that. Or was it less than that? We could do.
I think it was about half a cup.
So about half a cup of that Chex Mix. Half a cup. And then you said nothing added to that, right? And then for that water, was it again maybe like a 16 ounce or half of that, 8 ounces? Or do you think it was like
probably like 10 ounces?
10 ounces or 10 ounces cup? Ounces of water. And then, sorry, I'm gonna go back to your quinoa. You recall that you had olive oil, red pepper, and parsley in there. And then for that olive oil, do you know about how much olive oil was in there?
No, because I didn't make it.
Okay, so you didn't make the olive oil, so it was prepared for you. So the red pepper, do you remember like how much red pepper was on it?
It was definitely about like a 4 teaspoon.
A quarter?
Yeah. Wasn't too much.
And then it had parsley as well. And the parsley, you would say maybe...
No, it was probably the same amount.
The same amount.
1/4, yeah.
1/4. Okay, so a quarter of red pepper, a teaspoon, and a quarter of the parsley as well. Okay, so I think I got everything down. I'm just gonna go through it again so you can hear all of it that I have documented for you. And then I'm also gonna go back and ask you, did you have any supplements or vitamins that you could recall?
Yeah, in the morning I had a probiotic. I had the apple cider vinegar pill and an ashwagandha pill, or pills.
And then these were all pills, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember how much of each one you had?
2 pills for the probiotics, 1 for the apple cider vinegar, and 2 for the ashwagandha.
Ashwagandha. And that's all the supplements and vitamins you had that day?
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, awesome. So that's what I have for you. I'm going to go over it really quick. At 11 a.m., you had 2 cups of Tapatio instant noodle soup.
Mhm.
And then you had half of a fresh lime in that soup. You also had a cup of yogurt, Silk brand, so non-dairy, blueberry flavored. And then you had the cup of 1/4 cup of granola, which we're called like a Walmart brand. And then you had like 16 ounces of water with your supplements that you had that morning, the 2 probiotics, the 1 apple cider, 2 ashwandas. And then around 5 p.m. you had some chips, salsa, and guac. And then you had about 20 chips, a third of a cup of salsa, a third of a cup of guac, and then some 16-ounce water. And then you had a meal at 7:30 p.m., which was some nachos, quinoa, the quesadillas, some water, and some seltzer water. For your nachos, you had like 15 chips. And then you had sour cream, queso, pickled onions, and cilantro. So about a tablespoon of queso and sour cream, and then a 1/4 cup of pickled onions, about a quarter or a half a teaspoon for your cilantro in there. And then your quinoa, you had, let's see, some red pepper, so 1/4 teaspoon, and then 1/4 of a teaspoon of parsley in there. Like overall, do you remember how much quinoa you had for that? Was it about
Probably it was about half a cup.
half a cup of the whole thing? Okay. And then you had the quesadilla, which was about like 2 decks of these, like the big, and it was a plain quesadilla.
Yeah.
And then you had some seltzer water with 6-ounce seltzer water with added simple syrup with half a teaspoon. And then you had some water. You had some water, which was 8-ounce cup around that time. And then at midnight, you had your last meal / snack, which was Chex Mix, like half a cup, and then 10 ounces of water. Okay, awesome. So that was the whole thing. Thank you for giving me your time today, and I think we have concluded this.
Okay.
Thank you.